Oh, about to play Hendo. Happy birthday. Hopefully he's going to come on. Oh, here we go. Okay. There we go. There we go. Let's do it. Coming in hot. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Sir Hendo. Happy birthday to you. Happy. Go. Happy birthday to you.
Oh my God, there's sparkles and everything.
To you. Our podcast has 10 more listeners than 2. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Jan.
That's going to stay in there for the duration of the flame there.
Don't burn down the dantion.
Oh, Jesus. There's shit going everywhere. Elon's freaking out. Go away. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Thank you.
That just burnt out like my employment just then.
Literally burning down the house this week, Dan.
Right.
Oh, man.
Happy birthday, mate.
Thank you. Hey, do you know some fun facts about my birthday?
Yeah.
I share a birthday with someone we both know.
I know this. I saw this today.
Who was that?
Hawkers.
Oh, really? You mean the brewery?
Wait, who were you thinking?
George Russell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, wow. Okay.
Hey, so I've got George Russell, the Formula One driver. Who the fuck have you got? Mazin? No, Mazin's not born today.
No, Hawkers, like the brewery's birthday. Let me check this. They put a thing up.
Right.
It's definitely possible I'm like a day late. But 8th birthday. When was that? That was 8 hours ago. Happy 8th birthday to us.
Holy shit.
Amazing.
That's amazing. I share a birthday with a brewery and a Formula One driver. One
of the best brewers in the country and one of the best F1 drivers in the world.
Formula One drivers on the grid. Fuck yeah.
That's awesome. What did you do for your birthday today, mate?
I worked my tits off.
Oh wow.
And then I went to the pub.
Okay.
No, it's like it's actually one of those really productive days today. I'm launching a new course tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. With my clients at Rockstar on how to complete like yeast husbandry, and it's going to go for like 14 weeks. So like things like production costs are going way up for breweries. And one of the ways a brewery can save money is on yeast. 100%. And I figured it out a way for a brewery to save up to 97% off the yeast costs. Make it almost negligible. Yeah. And so I'm sharing that with my clients.
I love that. Good timing.
Good timing. Good timing. Yeah. Have you got a beer?
Oh, yeah, I do. Let me check the ABVs on these little bad boys. I was feeling nostalgic today, so I took a trip to the OGs of the Brisbane beer scene and wound up here.
Oh, you went to Bacchus?
Went to Bacchus.
Huh.
Nelson Pale Ale.
Let me get a photo of that again. I'll get a crap. Oh, wait, I've got to pin you. Hang on a second, sorry. Oh. Got to pin you on the screen. That's pretty good. Anyway, you went all the way out to Cabalbar.
Well, I was in Brizzy yesterday. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went up to see
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day date to go see Hamilton, the musical.
Yes.
For the second time.
Not Lewis, as in George Russell's co-driver.
No, different Hamilton. And then Did a little trip on the way back via a couple of breweries. It was good.
How are the beers?
Well, I only had one beer. I had one beer at Brewdog. It was awesome. And then I had one beer at Bacchus, and it was awesome as well. I had the West Coast IPA. It was fucking great.
Took a long way home.
Well, then I went to Sierra May for a little feed on the way back.
It's nice out there, isn't it?
Oh my God, it's so cool. What do you got?
I've got a beer. Finally, I have got the Social Brewers.
Oh, no.
Beers.
Oh, wow. Second attempt.
Second attempt. Best 2 out of 2. And so basically, yeah, it was. Bo reached out to me and he said, "Sorry about the mix-up with the Black Ops intra-company fucking logistics. Let's just sort it out. I'll just ship you some beers directly." That was not a dig or anything like that. It's just like shit happens.
No, I mean, he shouldn't be sorry. It wasn't his mistake.
Look at this.
That's the most revolting glass I've ever seen. Let me get the photo. Fuck me. Horrendous. Jesus Christ.
So Bo's one of my clients, just full disclosure and that sort of thing. And I said, "Can I just fuck the head's just gone? I'm sorry. I'm not doing this beer justice at all." Anyway, this is the Lager No, which has a picture of a punt on it.
Okay.
And
show us the beer again. I'm not going to take a photo. Okay, yeah, no,
it's got a picture of
do better. No, your fucking glass.
It's got a punt. Oh, you don't want me to? I can show you my punt again.
Get your punt out of screen. Okay.
Anyway, Lager No. Now, that's not bad.
Okay.
In consideration that it arrived on Monday morning whilst I was teaching at class and it was 35 degrees and sat on my fucking doorstep for so many hours and arrived warm. And probably sat in a bloody Australia Post warehouse over the weekend as well. And that is a very nice, tasty beer.
Good. Very good.
So you know what we have to do now is old mate Louis G, right?
Yeah.
Who neither of us have met, incidentally.
No, he may not be a real person. I don't know.
He's very elusive. He's taken a photo out the front of the regatta.
Okay.
Right. So he's been near my place, and he's been in Sydney and posted something on the Facebook group this week about being near the Social Brewers. And then Bo said, "Come and call in." So Bo, if you're listening and you meet Louis G or have the CCTV on, find out what he looks like, because neither of us know. Fuck, we'll figure it out one day.
We'll probably ask a few questions for tonight. I'm guessing.
I hope so.
All right, let's get into it.
I should pull up my Google Docs here. Let me just have a look at the top of the list here. Oh, Funemployment.
Funemployment.
Are you trying to tell me that that you are currently engaging in Funemployment?
I'm funemployed. Yeah.
And you know, the interesting thing is, I already knew that.
Okay.
I read it on Brews News.
Did you?
Yeah. Isn't it interesting that we learn about someone being unemployed on Brews News before actually talking about it on our show?
Oh, God, here we go. I should have seen this coming.
What happened, man?
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It is on Brews News, so it's news to, I guess, people in the industry. But you know, this shit.
We're not news and we're not journalists. So,
yeah.
And so full disclosure is like, you messaged me late last week, said what was happening. I'm like, yeah, cool, no worries, and that sort of thing. We don't really talk to each other much outside the podcast. This is our once a week sort of get together. And I think the last time we saw each other face to face was back in November when I was down the Gold Coast with PK and the Beer 30 guys, and we had a beer at the Burley Pavilion, I think.
Correct. I was just trying to think
We
if our meetup was between then and now when you rocked up extremely late. But either way.
No, that was before that. So
okay, yeah.
Last time we had a beer face to face was November.
Yeah.
And so people might think that we talk to each other all the time, but we really only talk to each other on this show in a public setting.
Yeah.
So tell us what happened, man. I genuinely don't know.
Yeah. It's weird because it's kind of, I suppose, newsworthy from the point of view that like a CEO is no longer the CEO and a founder is moving out of the business. But it's kind of like we've been talking about this process for a very long time. And, you know, if you started, you would know this better than anyone. If you start a business, right, because you love something, you find yourself doing a job that you never, ever would have gotten. And you're doing it because, you know, especially in our case, we've raised a lot of money. Like, you're doing that job because the investors have basically paid you to do it. And I'm not fucking that good at it, to be honest with you. Like, it's a funny thing that I thought of today is because this is like my first week of Funemployment, and I'm like thinking about what jobs to look for or what to do, what businesses to start. Like, I'm not going on Seek looking for a job as a CEO. Not in a fucking million years am I in any way interested in being a CEO of any company. It's just not, it's not what I do. It's not what I'm interested in doing. Like, I wanted to start a business. It was fun and it was awesome. And I think we did really good things. But as a job, after 8 years of having a business, it becomes a job. And that was my job. There's 0% of me that wants to do that as a job. And it's I don't know, it's an interesting thing for people to think about. And, you know, before we even started Black Ops, we spoke to you and you kind of reminded us of the challenges of doing it and how difficult it would be and all that. And fuck me, it's been difficult and we've had some good times, but in the end, you end up doing a job and there's probably better people for it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're extremely lucky like we were and, you know, you do some things right and you time the trends well, get to the point where you've got a gigantic team and a big business, that's a fucking tough job, a really tough job. And it's a thankless job and it's a stressful job. And yeah, there's people who do this kind of stuff.
I remember when we first met at was it Curbside?
Yeah.
It's the Osborne Hotel now.
Yeah.
And that fancy beer garden wasn't there. It was like a fucking car park. And it was you, Eddie, and Govs. Like, and I think it was a beer festival on there or something. What year was that? 2014 or something like that? Or?
It was whenever Keep on Trucking came out, because I think that was the beer you had on.
It was probably 2014. It was like the first year of Brew Cold or something like that.
Yeah.
And Dan Rickard had me come up for that festival, and I remember sitting against the fucking brick wall. I don't know how I wound up speaking to the three guys. I think one of you guys dragged me over. Probably Govs.
Well, I ended up pouring your beers at that event.
Yeah, well, you had your RSA and I was bored.
I was lazy. Like, fuck, I'm pouring fucking brew cup beers. This is awesome.
And so I remember the three of us having a chat, and you were like, you wanted to start a brewery. And I think the picture that I had in my mind was very similar to what HQ wound up being. I think that was the vision in your head at the time. That's what Black Ops was going to be. And, you know, we've had lots of conversations about your business over the years, written the forward for your book. And the journey has been fascinating for me.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about it.
Oh shit! What else we done? Did the fucking podcast? Oh, 2 podcast series.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up the podcast because the Aber
two podcast. Oh, we did the podcast before you got the bloody champion small.
Yeah, we did the road to the Abers.
Oh, and then you crushed it at it.
Yeah.
Oh, we were so young and naive.
Yeah. But I
then,
mean,
you know, like
back then when we started the business, like I didn't even work for Black Ops for the first, I don't know, year and a half. It wasn't, and it didn't even cross my mind. Like I was actually selling my business in online marketing when Black Ops opened. I didn't even come to the opening of Black Ops because it happened the day I was in America selling my business. And like there was probably like a year between then and when I actually started working, like being paid. No, actually more than a year before I was paid, but a year before I thought, okay, I'm going to actually work in this as a thing. Like it was going to be a small thing, a fun thing. Like Eddie wanted to open a bar and I was like, nah, I'm not keen for that. That's shit. As soon as he said brewery, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, you know, we could like kind of grow that. It could be fun. But it was, like a year or more before I even worked for the business. And then, I don't know, 5 years later, we're fucking one of the biggest brands in the country. It's crazy. And and we talked about, you know, getting a new MD in, we were kind of trying to set up a board structure for quite a while. We had like an advisory board that just, I don't know, it didn't really work. But getting like an experienced MD in is something we've been talking about for, I don't know, at least 6 months. We all agreed on it. And I actually thought what probably would happen is he would come in and then I would be like, okay, cool. Like now you're running the business. I can just like do what I'm more naturally inclined to do, which is kind of like the website stuff and the content and like that kind of stuff, which it gives me energy. Like the rest of the stuff, it just drains you. It just fucking drains you. If you're not that person, it's an exhausting job. But it's just weird.
We've had lots of chats over the years where I've called into Black Ops and like my recollection is over the years, I'd come in and have a chat to you guys, the three of you guys, because for some reason you'd hit a glass ceiling in some way in the business. And without going into the specifics of it and that sort of thing, it's like there'd always be some glass ceiling. We'd have a chat and somehow you, Eddie, and Govs would reorganize and then punch through it and get to the next glass ceiling and that sort of thing. But it sounds like you sort of got to that point where there was a glass ceiling, at least for you, that was insurmountable.
Yeah, I think
What do you think happened?
I mean, hopefully the way you're describing it is exactly how it happens. I mean, like a company like this, which is, you know, it's had millions of dollars invested in it. It's a big brand now. It's a big business, and it needs someone running it that's a fucking professional CEO. And I'm fine with that. I think that makes sense. And it's, I don't know. I kind of represent the old now. It was weird. Like it's been 8 years since we started it, and it was like, you know, you're the new people coming in, firing things up and rattling the cage and whatnot. And now like my kind of style of doing business is it doesn't work for what we are currently. Like my style is basically just be honest, have a crack, you know, talk shit, break shit, move fast, break things. And that it also, like, that's what energizes me. Like the best analogy I can give you is like during COVID, when everything was going to shit and everyone was freaking out and we had to figure out what the fuck we were doing. Like I decided we would build a home delivery app, Supply Drop.
Yep.
And I did it over the course of a weekend, and the next week we were delivering beer to home via an app it was live in the App Store a week after that. Everyone else was freaking the fuck out. I was fucking in my element. Like, as bad as it sounds, like that's what I love. I love the chaos. I love the startup chaos. But the droning of fucking managing a day-to-day shit, I'm not good at it, and neither are the other founders, to be honest. Like they would admit it as much as I would.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing, like, the thing is that when you're in a brew, I mean, I look at your brewery of your size. What's your annual output? Like 3 million, 2.5, 3 million, something like that. And it, you know, that many liters of beer per year takes a lot of effort, coordination, and what technically that business is an FMCG business. If you don't know what FMCG stands for, it stands for fast moving consumer goods, right? You buy the raw materials and have the minimum amount, so you don't consume cash. You make the goods as fast as you can. You sell it and you get paid as fast as you can. You keep fucking doing it in this never ending cycle, and that's a really different type of business, you know. And so I think Black Ops has sort of grown from a brewery into a brewery that happens to be an FMCG business, right? And so FMCG doesn't just apply to beer. It's orange juice, it's toothpaste, it's anything that you see on a supermarket shelf is an FMCG business. Yogurt, cheese, who cares, you know?
Yeah.
And to run those businesses takes a certain level of skill. And that's really challenging. So how come you didn't, think about like doing some, like, businesses getting decent size? And I think it's okay to ask for help and that sort of thing. Do you ever consider doing like coaching, executive coaching, something like that?
We've done a little bit of that. We've got some good advisors, like the kind of public facing things, like, people see me in the Facebook group and see like the brewers and the photos and that, like, that's not how the business is run. Like,
no, not at all.
Like the behind the scenes, it's a business. We've had investors, advisory investors, guys who I wouldn't call them business coaches, but people who are close to me and close to other founders that are willing to help out at any point, and that's been happening regularly. And even to be honest with you, like a business of this size, there comes a point where it becomes a lot about the finance, and we've had a really good finance broker who I've been really close with. Guys like that, Jason and other people like that, super important to the business. They were all calling for the same thing because, and it sort of becomes like, okay, you need debt for the business, you need equity for the business, you need to go out to the market with an experienced team, a leadership team, a good story, a good brand, a good product, and all that stuff. And just like three mates running a business just doesn't add up to that. And yeah, I mean, I fucking, like, I'll be 100% honest with you. Like, when you make a decision like this, you don't know if it's the right one. You don't know. And this is not exactly the way I thought it would go. Like I said before, like I thought I'd probably still work in the business. I feel like it's the right call. But fuck, I don't know. It's a weird market at the moment. I don't know. A few years from now, let's look back and find out.
You engaged a financial controller or something like that, or CFO or something a while ago. When did that happen?
About 5 months ago, I'd say.
Yeah. Has that been a positive experience?
It's been we engaged a financial controller as well as a consultant who's been working with me and the other guys on the board on like cost accounting, like for like basically exactly what you said before, like the FMCG side, like let's just take all the love and everything out of the business and just be like, how much does this shit cost? How much you sell it for? How much do you make? That kind of thing. So we actually had both at the same time. It's been actually an awesome learning experience for me, and there was a big part of realizing like I don't know anywhere near enough to run a company like this. Like it's and I actually worry because we've written articles on the Black Ops blog about the cost of beer, which I've written because like my thing is be as transparent as possible, share everything. But when you start talking to people who are really like into this shit, you kind of realize how out of your depth you are. And I think all of us founders went through that at one point. I don't want to speak for the other guys, but I think that happened. It definitely happened for me with the finance side. I've learned so much from those guys.
Because it's very challenging because having, run my business as well into the fucking ground. And, that was, also a realization that I was way out of my depth in terms of running an FMCG business that wasn't even anywhere near the scale of what Black Ops is. And the one thing that I learned was that is like if you visualize like a sphere or a ball of cash money,
Yes.
right? And then around that is these little moons around an orbit, and you've got money in the bank account, and then you've got raw materials, which is also represents money. And then you turn those raw materials into beer in the tank, right? And then you turn that into beer that's ready to sell, and then that gets turned into beer that you sell, and then there's an invoice where somebody owes you money,
Yeah.
and that which then finally becomes beer back in the bank account again,
Yeah.
right? And so there's this fucking orbital fucking thing that happens around this big moon like wad of fucking cash.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the fucking reality of an FMCG business. Right. And the faster you can get this little orbit to go, the healthier your business is. But the downside of that is that the faster you want that little orbit to go, you've got to tweak things along the way. Either you have to lower your price or obtain your raw materials cheaper. You have to lower your price to make it more attractive for people to want to buy it, which actually takes money out of the orbit, but makes it go faster. And then you have to organize things.
Make less products. That's a big one.
Make fewer products and all that sort of stuff. So you have less stock sitting in the warehouse waiting to be sold. Because any stock that you see in a brewery that's finished goods, I see money in a bank account. Same fucking thing.
Yep.
And then you also have to organize things with your customers so they pay you in a timely manner. Any brewery that starts these days, and I speak to fucking lots of them, they go, oh, I want to sell beer into bottle shops and pubs. Great. What do you think your credit terms are going to be? Oh, 30 days. You'll be dead in a year. Fucking dead in a year. Because do you really think that Lion and CUB operate on 30-day credit terms? Absolutely not. They operate in 7-day terms, and if you don't pay them, they cut you off because they need that and they understand.
They own the taps. That's
exactly, and that's why they own the taps.
Yeah, that's another big thing that I've learned, because like my last business was fucking online support. It had nothing to do with this, but there's a thing in business where it's like you're putting money into something like a tap system, for example. That's not an expense. That goes on the balance sheet, right? The beer that goes in there is an expense, and it goes in there and you buy it and then you sell it at a profit. But the actual system goes on the balance sheet. So if you've got enough money to put into that, and that doesn't count in terms of cash flow. If you get like a whole bunch of fucking cash to put into equipment, then it doesn't count for cash flow. So like the Lions and the CUBs and Asahi's or whatever the parent company is, Kirin or whatever, they own all the taps. So like that, they have enough money to buy all the taps. So the business,
and it's guaranteed sales, and it helps them
guaranteed
keep the
sales. The
cycle going
business
faster.
running those, they just take the money in and put the money out instantly, and they can pay within 7 days because they sell it basically instantly as long as they're running a reasonably tight operation. But yeah, it's
not like they were the crapper in Australia though.
It's not. But yeah, it's a fucking tough business. But I don't know. I have hope. I have hope. It's a great industry, a lot of great people.
I think it sounds like, from what you're telling me, it's like, and we did speak a little bit about this, when we had a beer last November, is that you kind of had this feeling that the business was getting big enough that it was outdoing your skill set. And I think it's, and if you feel like that's gone the case, I think that's pretty commendable that you sort of come to the realization that it's best to do what's best for the business than try and sort of, suffer your way through it and because you can't just fudge that shit, man.
Yeah, and you do though. You do as a business owner. That's what you do. Like it's like you
Of course you
basically
do.
pretend that you're better at this than you are, and you do it year after year after year after year.
Mm.
And fuck me, it comes back to hurt you. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
like it's a tough gig being a business owner. But you know, I think I'm really proud of what Black Ops did and what we have become, and
And what it continues to do.
yeah,
It's
I think, yeah, I
don't
think
forget, Black Ops still exists and it's still a fucking thing, and you should buy the beer.
100%. Like if you even think about like how many brands like that are legitimately, like genuinely started by a couple of dudes, you know, started as a homebrew idea between a few friends, grew and told the story along the whole way, became a brand that people like legitimately, like I'll walk up the street and there's Black Ops core flutes at the local bottle shop. There's, you know, there's people drinking the beer at the local restaurant. It's a fucking cool story. Like it's I don't know.
And you're not the only brewery who's gone through this situation with the CEO. I remember when we chatted to Ben Krause, you know, and he said the same thing. You know, he was saying sort of similar things, and he went and engaged a CEO. Like he realized that he was sort of at the end of his skill set and needed to put in place someone who he thought could be a custodian of the business. And he's taken it back in house again, you know, now that he's back from Austria and that sort of thing. Like this is not, your story is not anything new. Sorry.
No, that's true. And actually, I spoke to quite a lot of people. There's two examples that I can think of that are very, very big examples. And I don't want to say who they are because it would be betraying the trust that I had with the people I spoke to. But they all said the same thing. Like I spoke to the founders of the business and the people who came in to run the business. And the people who came in to run the business all said exactly the same thing. That three different people across two businesses I can think of just said, like, you know, I came in to run the business, but the founders were still there controlling everything, and it was fucking weird. And I did my best, but ultimately it didn't work out.
Because the founders were still there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, because they don't feel like they can take because
it's hard to let go.
Well, when you start a brewery, there's a big emotional and personal attachment to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'm just trying, in the two examples I'm thinking of, one of them is the founders, I think, are back controlling the company. The other one is sold. But leading up to the sale, the founders were back in the business. So I don't know. Tricky. It's tricky, but it's and then the stomping ground thing I saw as well this week. That was crazy to see that. Like they were kind of founders who like the best of the best. And they were kind of like, we're selling, and then it's like, we're not selling anymore. It's like, fucking hell.
Yeah. So do you think, I mean, what do you think the impact's going to be on Black Ops now? You know, it's a great brand. It continues to make awesome beer and all that sort of stuff. What's next for Black Ops?
Impact of me leaving, or impact of...
Well, I guess what the question I'm asking is what's next for Black Ops? I mean, I kind of, you know, it's a big change for the second of the three founders to step out of the business. You know, and you know, there's people out there that say, you know, you've got on the tap room made by three mates on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Is it still beer made by three mates on the Gold Coast?
Well, you've turned into Matt Kirkegaard, haven't you, with your questions here, mate? I love it. Good one.
And the circle of life is complete.
Yeah. No, I think it'll have very little impact. I just don't. I think it's the beer made by three mates thing is I think that was an awesome thing that was 100% true, except for the fact that, you know, it was like the brand was made by three mates, you know, like obviously us three aren't sitting there making the beer every day. So yeah, a new tagline is long overdue. Although being a Bacchus today reminded me that the last time I actually made beer was at Bacchus when we had one of our very first Black Ops brew days, and me and Eddie went there. Govs couldn't make it, and me and Eddie made the beer with Toshi and Bill at the time.
No way, you've been wearing that fucking red flannel, dry hopping flannel.
Yeah, I brewed that day.
Did you mean dry hopping or made wort?
No, made wort.
Did you wear the wort production flannel?
Well, no, but that was a long time ago. It was it was not flannel
before
situation.
the wort. Are you saying it was before the wort production flannel?
Exactly.
Was invented.
Yeah.
So only then you've only been dry hopping.
Only dry hopping since then, not because dry hopping is not brewing. That was brewing, proper brewing.
Wort production.
Well, okay, all right.
Okay, so
yeah, I honestly don't think it'll, like, me leaving. I don't think is a big thing. Like it's a big brand now. I don't think it's a big thing. I don't think it'll make a dent on anything, to be honest.
Yeah, okay.
As much as that sucks to say, because I like to think I'm important, but I don't think it is.
How do you feel about the financial health of Black Ops going forward and that sort of thing? Because like there would be people out there going, "Oh, Black Ops is going under. He's jumping ship. He's selling his shares and he's out." Have you sold the shares?
Yeah. No. I'm
He's still a shareholder.
I'm the biggest shareholder. I'm not would never sell my shares. I'm a co-founder, so I own more shares than anyone. Financially, fuck me. I mean, I could lie to you and tell you everything's awesome, but the industry is under a lot of fucking pressure at the moment. Like, our business is fucking great. It's a great business. We've got awesome national contracts. We've got awesome tap rooms, a great team, a great brand, awesome product, good bankers, good investors. Like, we're in as good a position as I suppose you could be, but it's a fucking tough go at the moment. And the year ahead, I think, is, and I'm not talking on behalf of Black Ops. I'm just talking to you.
Believe me, mate, I've spoken to a lot of brewing business owners and that sort of thing who've said this is going to be a fucking tough year.
It's going to be a very tough year.
And you hear that sort of thing almost every year. And I have heard that sort of thing almost every year. And some years you have a slow winter or a slow summer, but we've had a combination of both for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And I think the inflation, the interest rates and all that sort of stuff is starting to bite. And we're in the discretionary spending business.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I think like Black Ops, I think with a good leader and a good support from the banks and investors and good customers and a great brand, and that, there's a lot of shit we've planned that is happening now that we kind of planned like 6 to 9 months ago that is happening, that's coming to fruition. And so I feel really good about all of that. I think this sentiment has probably come out on this podcast long before this show. Like, generally, I'm nervous for the industry because I think with the big brands selling out and just the amount of marketing that's pouring into the competition, it's becoming so fucking tough. So I think it's going to be a tough road ahead for lots of breweries.
Yeah. And what about your personal reasons for stepping out now, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything sort of behind that might be an issue, or
not really? It's not personal, I don't think. I think it's like, I mean, like I said before, the plan was kind of get the new CEO in, and I would do something ancillary to his job. It was just going to be weird. And also, it's just like, it's a weird experience for me to go back into the company when someone else is running it and do a job that's not the leader. It's weird for me and weird for the staff. And I don't know, it's honestly, like, most of everything of what I do is based on feel and felt like the right move. And it is also costs as well. Like, you look at how much money the company can afford to pay, and you can't pay fucking 5 people to be running it. You want to pay a CEO, trust me, you're paying a fair bit of money for that.
Yeah, of course.
You get someone in for that, and if there's no room for you.
I'd probably say they're paying more now for Black Ops, paying more now for its new CEO than you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, yeah. And that's the thing that I don't know if I don't want to make it a fucking sob story, but people don't realize that if you start your own business, like you're signing yourself up to being savagely overworked and underpaid for as long as you can think of into the future. And I'm totally cool with that. I knew that. And hopefully people understand that when they start it, because you start a business thinking, you know, ultimately the value of the whole thing will grow and you're chasing a dream and you'll work your ass off. But don't expect you'll be paying yourself a lot of money. Like for the first 2 years, I think I paid myself zero. Many times over the course of Black Ops, you know, I didn't pay myself anything. Like during COVID, cut my wage back to zero. That happened quite a few times. You know, when the company couldn't afford to pay me, I was like, all right, well, fucking, I can figure out something. I just won't pay myself. That's normal. You run a business like that, like you are the last person. So yeah, definitely paying the ECO more than I ever was paid. But that's part of how it works when you have your own business.
And now that you've stepped out, what do you look forward to with regards to the business?
Good question. It's a very big change. Very big change. Like it's a kind of like every time I see any.
Or does it feel raw for you and you don't know yet?
Yeah, it is raw, and it's kind of the letting go thing. That's sort of like, okay, you can let go, but can you really let go? Like really letting go is me just because I'm not involved really. I'm not a director. I'm not an employee.
Oh, so basically, your relationship with Black Ops now is you're a shareholder.
I'm a shareholder, yeah.
You're not a director.
No, I'm a shareholder of the business. So it's I become an investor, I suppose.
So you've just taken your hands off the ship and you just gone like that.
Well, it didn't happen quite like that, but
well, yeah, more in a metaphorical sense.
Yeah.
You don't just mic drop and go, see you later, big business, I'm outie.
No, it's happened over a long period of time.
No, it's obviously it's planned and sort of thing.
It is weird. I don't know. It's weird. You kind of see the brand and you're proud about it, but you don't work there anymore. So it's a big change.
Yeah, but I guess the question I'm asking is, do you feel good? I mean, despite the challenges, do you obviously have do you have good wishes for the business going forward?
100%. Oh, yeah. I think that'll be obvious.
I mean, you're still a fucking shareholder, for fuck's sake. You know, you can't just go, I don't care.
Oh, no way. Like, and that'll be obvious when people leave a company and they all of a sudden don't even mention the brand anymore. Like, that's a red flag. Obviously, didn't end well, but you will see me shouting from the rooftops about Black Ops forever.
Yeah. So what's next for you, man?
I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't think about this in the month?
No. Well, like I said, it wasn't really planned like this. It was just kind of like it ended up making sense. But no, I actually don't know. I'd like to stay in the industry, but I don't know. Working for another brewery would be weird, so probably won't do that. Maybe just leave the industry totally. I don't know. I want to keep it on the podcast though, so I want to keep brewing in some way.
Well, you can just keep dry hopping, and I suppose that's good enough, mate.
Yeah, I could volunteer maybe. Yeah.
Well, what sort of things are you interested in?
I like content and kind of website, online technology stuff. Like that's kind of what I like. But
you got me into WordPress, and I'm a massive fan about that.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But I mean, going back to that would be a little bit weird. But I could do that. I don't know. Anyway, enough about me. That was good. I appreciated your Kierkegaard-esque questions.
Well, I'll take my Brews News hat off now.
All right. All right.
We actually got to talk to an unemployed person. It's amazing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
For reals. Acknowledgement.
All right. Speaking of this is a big one too. So Good Drinks Stomping Ground acquisition.
Cancelled.
I put cancelled. That's the wrong word.
Cancelled.
You know what I mean.
That's what you wrote. Cancel.
I wrote
Put big red stamp. Cancel.
Yeah. I should say,
Yeah.
Steve from Stomping Ground rung me when he saw our news the other day, and I didn't answer, but he texted me. They're fucking legends, those guys. I hope.
Oh, fucking oath. Absolutely. Steve and Guy are some of the best, most noble, knowledgeable business people that I know in this business. And there are a few others that I admire and respect, but Steve Jeffers and Guy Greenstone, 100%. A lot of respect for them. They've done so many good things for the industry, for their businesses, to grow craft. They're pivotal in the growth of craft beer in the country and that sort of thing. And but it's interesting though, like there was the big announcement that Good Drinks were going to buy out. I think it was 100% of Stomping Ground, and then all of a sudden it's like record scratch,
Yeah,
and then it's like, now what?
Yeah, see, I think it's not that abnormal for like an acquisition to be announced before it's actually finalized.
Yeah.
If you're like a listed company.
Really? Why wouldn't you not let the ink dry first? I don't understand that.
I don't exactly know, but I think it's like you have to flag that ahead of time.
Well, Good Drinks is listed.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
so
know.
They've got to announce that sort of thing. They can't really do that under under the covers or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow. Talk about awkward.
It's awkward. I would like to listen to our episode when this came out. Hopefully I haven't changed my tune, but generally I think that a brand like Gage Roads buying a local brand like Stomping Ground in Melbourne doesn't make a lot of sense. And hopefully that's what I said at the time, and that's consistent because like and I see it here, like they're putting a push in Queensland. I assume they're coming over here to build a Gage Roads venue. I mean, they've got their Sunny Coast one, but I assume they'll probably have something on the Gold Coast.
What do you mean? Which one of the Sunny Coast?
Well, they've got the what's the cider thing or something? Atomic? No, not Atomic. What's their cider thing? Matzo's. They got a Matzo's?
Oh, yeah.
Don't they have a Matzo's on the Sunny Coast?
I don't know.
I think
they don't drink cider.
I don't either. But they're putting a big push in Queensland. They've got billboards everywhere. They've got a very coastal vibe to their brand. Easy.
These are Matzo's cider billboards, though.
No.
Or Atomic
Gage Roads.
Oh, Gage Roads. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'm asking which brand.
Yeah. So, if you look around the Gold Coast, there's billboards everywhere for Gage Roads, single fin, and those kind of beers. It's very coastal vibe. Like it would make, and I've heard rumors they're doing something here. It would make a lot of sense for them to do that.
Sure. Well, they've got the Atomic tap room in Sydney and Redfern.
They got that. Yeah. It just kind of makes sense that they would stick with their brand that they're trying to build. Like it wouldn't really make sense for them to buy another brand that's completely different to their brand and operate that. It kind of doesn't make sense. But I don't know. At some point, they decided to buy Stomping Ground for whatever reason. I suppose they changed their mind.
I always thought, and again, you can go back and listen to that episode. I always thought it was a good fit.
Yeah.
Always thought it was a good fit. It was something that was Melbourne and not WA, and Stomping Ground being run by three players who are very, very good at hospitality, venue operations and stuff like that.
And brewing too. They're fucking products.
Asher, amazing brewer and all that sort of stuff. And there would be a lot of synergy in terms of collaboration, growing quality and growth. And
would there though? What synergy would there be?
Well, when you've got a big brewery like the one the Gage Roads have in Perth, then if the smaller brewery like Stomping Ground has a particular SKU that's doing really, really well, they can outsource that production over there, provided they can.
Perth is chocked to the gills. They're not fitting any more production in there. Like it's a
Yeah.
small.
Well, I know, but it opens the option for that to happen.
I don't think so. I don't think that there's no more room there.
Or alternatively, by being part of a larger entity, it opens up more opportunity for, operating capital.
But why would it make sense for Gauge Roads to put that operating capital towards Stomping Ground brand as opposed to their own brand?
Well, when you own it, it doesn't really matter, does it?
It does matter because they'd have to spend $10 million to acquire a brand when they've already got a good one.
Yeah, but it's not a Melbourne brand.
Yeah.
That's why CUB went and bought Bolter. And
no, that's different though.
Why,
that's different though.
How?
Because CUB didn't have a good, relevant craft beer brand. And they acquired the best one. And then Lion were like, you know what, CUB, you've got the best one. We're going to take the other best one.
Yeah, but Bolter was the most, was one of the more recent of the acquisitions. Don't forget, like Mountain Goat and, all that sort of stuff. It's like...
Well, Mountain Goat that relevant when... Think about when the Bolter acquisition...
No,
when they sold, they were relevant. But by the time, like, Bolter sold, Bolter was, like, in terms of, like, relevant, at least in Queensland, so much more relevant as a brand than Mountain Goat. Massively more relevant. Like,
I think for a lot of in a lot of respects, it comes down to, for the bigger players, the bigger you become, the more you need to acquire not the brand and the business, but the market share.
I disagree.
And that is, well, go back to the old sphere of fucking the big wad of cash and the little moons going around it. If you can acquire taps and that sort of thing, it's worth acquiring.
It's the opposite though. Like that, they buy the brands and then the brands acquire all the taps after the sale because they get all that distribution. They end up being gigantic. Like
that's exactly what I said.
No, but you said they were buying it for the taps.
What did I say differently?
Well, I'm saying they're buying it because people are coming into the venues because they're a relevant brand. They're asking for this beer.
Yes.
That's why they're buying the brand, because they're a relevant brand and they need a relevant brand because they can't make it themselves. And then they give them all the distribution. But now, like...
No, it's the other way around, man.
No.
I think it's the other way around.
Explain.
They're buying the distribution.
No way. No way.
You don't think so?
Bolter, when they sold, they were doing like 4 million litres a year. They're doing like 20 million now.
Sure, but once you're
buying distribution.
No. But Bolter in its own right built its own distribution that started to encroach on Asahi.
No, they built a relevant brand that was encroaching on Asahi.
Okay. Right. And then Asahi goes, we can take that small amount of growth and market share, plug that into our own distribution chain with lots more sales reps and bigger, broader distribution and 3PL and transportation, all that sort of stuff, and we can make it bigger. And that's what they did.
I don't think so. I think they said, okay, we've been trying to manufacture craft beer brands and lie to our customers about the beer we're making, and it's not working. Why don't we just buy someone who's doing this really fucking well and lock them into a 5-year deal to make sure they're still doing it really, really well, and then plug that into our system?
Well, it's that too.
Yeah, and it's good for everybody.
It's both. It's both.
Except for other breweries. It's not good for other breweries, but
no,
good for the customer.
But 100%, you're right. But it's both. It's not one or the other. You know what I mean?
They don't go into these things scared of like losing market share. Only to their competitors. When Asahi buys Bolter, they're not thinking, oh,
I
I'm
think,
worried.
but no,
Bolton's gonna
I
steal my
actually,
market
I
share.
actually do think it's about a fear of losing market share, because when you think about what, take Bolter as an example, right? To go from 3 or 4 or 5 million liters a year to 20, right? That's growing market share. Right?
Only because
And
they
and
grew
and
it.
and
Only because Asahi bought it and grew
well,
the
that's their fucking job,
yeah.
because they would have otherwise lost that. Because Bolter could have done it in their own right.
No.
Could have
No
done it in their own
chance.
right.
No
No,
chance.
I'm not saying did. Could have.
No. Asahi didn't buy Bolter because they thought they were going to lose 20 million liters a year. They bought Bolter because if they didn't buy Bolter, then Lion would have bought them, and Lion would have got 20 million liters a year.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
they weren't worried about the Bolter's literage when they purchased the business.
No, I know that. And so you're answering the question. You dickhead.
Anyway, the point is, for other breweries out there who think it's just like build a business and sell it, I don't feel a lot of confidence for that model. It just you got
I've got another beer.
Ooh, nice.
It's one of these beers. Have a look at that. Take a photo of that. Here's a YouTube thumbnail.
Nice.
I'm drinking a Hiker Brewing Company Tui Forest Lager.
Love that.
Now, they opened last weekend, and I made a point of going there and putting as much money in the till as I possibly could. I shouted fucking everyone beers as much as I could on Saturday during their soft launch, and they're open now. So potential visit from Louis G. Who knows? Maybe
a meetup.
Should be in his future, I think. And
can I pause you for 1 second?
Right.
Go on. Ooh, stratoscopic. Stratoscopic. DDH Hazy IPA Bacchus.
Is it any good?
Yeah, they did like 6 different IPAs last week. Oh, when I was there, Rob, I think, I hope I didn't fuck his name up, at Bacchus, said they're upgrading their equipment at Bacchus.
Yes, I understand that they're buying a new brew house and tanks and going to turn this into a proper craft brewery and that sort of thing.
That's
I
awesome.
think one of the challenges about Bacchus is that, if you know Bacchus, at like much respect to Bacchus, because they have born so many of Queensland's and Australia's great brewers.
100%.
Toshi, Johan, Bill, fucking the list just fucking goes on, right? It's been a great proving ground. And it's always been very interesting, because if you've ever been to Bacchus, it's been this sort of like very complicated homebrew kit. And it's very challenging to make beer on such a small scale 6 times over, twice a day.
Crazy.
Right? Crazy. And I remember back in the day I think it was the first time I fucking met Toshi doing a beer for a Brumalia, right? Their bloody winter solstice beer festival that they do. And watching Toshi with 6 timers, all the hops weighed out, organized, ready to go, just hops here and staggering things 5 minutes apart, and him being so fucking organized in it and that sort of thing blew my mind, right? And if you're going to make, if you're going to become a good brewer, you got to learn to brew on. You can't just learn to brew on the Rolls Royce or Ferrari of brew houses. You've got to learn to brew on the not so great equipment. I've brewed on some shit brew houses and shit packaging lines and still won fucking gold medals. And that's how you learn.
Yeah. But also it has its benefits too, because they were like the original sort of like 50 different fucking beers when you go into the venue. It's like,
Yeah.
you've got that many different beers because you can brew a different beer on every system. Like that was unheard of.
But the scale as well is so challenging because when you're making beer at 20 litres or 50 litres at a time, all brewers make the same mistakes around ingressing dissolved oxygen and all that sort of stuff. The same. Right? I don't care who you are or how great a brewer you are. But when your batch size is, 1,000, 5,000, 20,000, 50,000 litres on a per batch, right? That same mistake gets masked over by the sheer size of the batch. But when you're making beer in 20 litres or 50 litres at a time, there's nowhere to hide because that tiny mistake in that tiny little volume of beer is magnified because the batch size is so small.
Yeah.
And so I don't drink a lot of Bacchus beers, and I don't because I find them, a bit faulty and that sort of thing. But that's not saying you shouldn't. I'm a dickhead when it comes to drinking beer because I analyze beer every day and I just spot the same fault in the beer. And for me, yeah. But some of the beers that they come out with are phenomenal, right?
These beers are fucking great. The IPA I had today at West Coast was amazing. This beer is fucking outstanding.
Is it?
It's tasting very good, very good.
I need to revisit it again.
Yeah,
because I tell you what, right? If Bacchus can do really, really amazing beer, and I genuinely should try that because I genuinely respect the crew, at Bacchus and that sort of thing. Then if they can pull off what you're describing now, it's going to fucking blow my mind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also kind of their specialty was, this real small, weird, crazy beers, which we all.
They're not really doing that much now, though, are they?
No, but that started the whole thing, didn't it? Like the whole.
Yeah. Well, they could.
Yeah.
Well, they could because
they did,
like Roscoe could go and brew, like a barrel of 10%, 12%, 100% peat malt fucking barley wine, and then go age it in an octomore barrel for 2 years and let it reduce, and just do this peat out the wazoo fucking thing and go, there you go, guys. There's a fucking beer. Enjoy.
Yeah, but I think I have nothing but respect for that guy. Like he's a proper Queensland craft beer god as far as
100%. 100%. A lot of time for Roscoe.
Yeah.
A lot of time for
and
Roscoe.
I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool that because I know it's a fucking tough gig. I assume for a long time they would have wanted a bigger brew house, and you wouldn't want to fucking brew on that little system this whole time. So it sounds like a really good step for them. Anyway, we were talking about Hiker, and we just totally fucked that and started talking about.
Did we? But edit it out.
No, not editing. Too busy.
Anyway, I've got this fucking Hiker. I've got this Hiker Tui Forest Lager, right? And you see the lid here?
Oh, it's one of those old ones like the Bent Spoke used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they should be banned.
100%. They suck. Why are they doing that?
I don't know.
I thought that was always very weird that people did that, but I thought that disappeared.
Yeah. I thought so too. I'm surprised that there's not been some directive from the Department of Environment that bans those things. Because if you think about how we drink beer from a can now, we've got the thing that pushes the thing down, it opens the spout, you drink it, and it's still in one piece. Right? When I was a kid, we had ring pulls. Right? And you have the ring pull, and it becomes a separate piece of litter that's not recyclable. Oh. And it's also that's why we don't have ring pulls anymore. I was actually having a chat to a mate at the pub this evening. I said, why do you think I dislike this? Or what do you think I think it's wrong in the current day and age? Because it separates from the can and becomes a separate piece of litter that is not biodegradable.
Is that why you don't like that?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
not nothing wrong with the beer, and I'm not trying to disrespect Hiker or anything like that. I don't like these lids where there's now a separate piece of litter. I
well,
think the concept
it's
is fucking
it's an
great.
environmental thing,
Yes, I'm enjoying drinking this beer out of the fucking open lid. And
right?
it's a really fucking good beer as well. But
Okay,
I don't like the fact that there's a separate piece of litter and it's got nothing to do with the brand or the beer itself.
okay, interesting. Hendo Thornburg over there trying to save the environment. That's great. I love that for you. How about we say something positive about Hiker, you fucking rude bastard. Jesus.
I had a great time there last Saturday for the
Good.
soft launch. And if I could have gone there on the Sunday for the hard launch, I would do that. But Phil and Dan are doing not you, Daniel,
No.
doing a good job, and it was great. I can't tell you how great that made me feel to go into a brewery that was a concept for introducing two guys to go, hey, you two guys should do a brewery, and then all of a sudden it's open.
That's so cool.
And that felt great. The other thing that makes me feel great is that that is the first brewery that has opened from a TAFE graduate.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right? And so kudos where it's due. This is the first brewery that's opened as a result of the Queensland craft brewing strategy, which actually wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Matt Kirkegaard.
Wow.
So credit where credit's
cool.
due. So credit where credit's due there as well.
Wait, explain that.
Well, it was Matt, when Brewdog decided that they were going to open a brewery in Brisbane on the back of them getting tax breaks, when all the other breweries in Queensland jumped up and down and said, hang on a second, we've been here for years, and all of a sudden you're giving tax breaks to a multinational company for no reason to try and create jobs when we're here already creating jobs. The only reason why that happened was because of Bruce News.
How?
Because he brought attention to it.
Right.
And there were people in the state government who went, holy shit, we fucked up here and we need to fix this. And the only way that the certain politicians in the state government decided to fix it was to do the study by KPMG, which ultimately became the Queensland craft brewing strategy.
Wow. So the course, and the course is like
all of that, 100%, all of that goes all the way back to Brews News.
Wow. Oh, that's cool.
Having done something really positive for Queensland craft brewing.
Oh, good. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I want to go to Hiker today, but obviously not open. But isn't that just crazy?
Dude, it's open for you, man. Just fucking ring Phil.
I don't do that. I don't do that.
I send my students there after class on Monday. Like Phil texts me and says, send the students around after class. We're technically closed, but come along and open. And
I know, but
it was amazing. Students went there, just drank beers and all sorts of stuff. We didn't drink beers. I didn't drink beer, but just went and said hi and all sorts of things.
Yeah, I felt bad. I also didn't go to Soapbox because it was closed and we were leaving the city at like half an hour before they were closing because Craig, one of the 12, reached out and said, pop in, but
I need to stop in the Soapbox.
I feel like a douche just rocking up.
I promised Greg.
I was just like fucking celebrity. Yeah. It's fucking rude. It's rude. But anyway, I did want to go there. I do want to go
there. Your mates. What are you going to do now? You're like, not in the industry. You're like, oh no. Not allowed in breweries anymore.
Oh no, I still go to breweries. Well, I went to when I went to Backers today, Rob was like, "Oh, I read on Brews News today you're stepping out of the industry." He's like, "Yeah, talked about that." I don't know. I really hope that. I mean, I'm probably just being completely interested here, but when we started Black Ops, like the idea of like sharing everything you do and writing blog posts about everything and writing books about things and doing a podcast about things and just giving away all the knowledge and the information that you have
Mm.
to enable other people to do what they do. It didn't exist in this industry, and it existed in other industries that I was part of. So that's what I wanted to bring to this game, and hopefully I did. And I know I did to some extent, because when I go into breweries and they've read our book and they've bought the brew kit from Tiantai, and they've read our recipes that we all published for all those years, and they've learned all of that, and that's helped them. Hopefully that's a good enough contribution.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
maybe you won't be involved in the brewing business anymore, but I don't think your contribution to the industry has ended.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. It's an awesome industry. It is awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's a very interesting one. I feel a sense of empathy, having gone through a similar situation, not exactly the same though, where you are not running a brewing business anymore, and you're probably thinking right now, I really like the industry. I would like to stay in it. What's next for me?
Yeah.
That's probably how you're thinking right now. And my advice to you, mate, is take some time out. Go ride your motorbike. Oh, you don't have a motorbike. Oh,
I got a Volvo.
Sorry for you. Then go drive the fucking Volvo a lot.
Yeah.
Even better, learn how to fix your Volvo. It's a good skill.
Trying to get rid of me, Hendo.
No, I'm not trying to get rid of you. I just think that I can get the Piaggio Zip going better than the Volvo.
The Volvo runs first time, every time, 100%.
Okay, well then go drive the fucking thing.
I'll do it right now. I'll start up right
now. Not now. You've had a beer.
Okay. I'm just saying, if I had to. Yeah.
But seriously, mate, take some weekend drives and do some stuff that's not beer industry related, and go and figure out what you're fucking passionate about and that sort of thing. Because when I was, and mate, I was living on the fucking Gold Coast and seeing you when I was at my worst, and you were there when I was at my worst, right? And you know that, right? And and I was working at Stone and Wood at the time and that sort of thing, just working on shift. I knew at the outset that I just didn't want to not be in the brewing industry, because I love making beer, and I'm grateful to Stone and Wood because they gave me the opportunity to just make beer every day and finish shift and go home, right? And I'll be eternally grateful to Stone and Wood for that. But I knew that I had something greater to do in the industry. And I couldn't figure it. I didn't know at the time because I couldn't see the forest for the trees. But it took me that time at Stone and Wood.
That's a Stone and Wood joke right there. Come on.
Couldn't see the wood for the trees?
Forest for the trees. It's a Stone and Wood brand.
Shut up, Dan.
Come on. Come on. I can't let that slide.
Couldn't see the forest for the trees. All right. I said it. But just taking that time out, and I slowly figured out what I'm going to do next, what I wanted to do next, and I love what I do now, and I think I make a greater contribution to the industry now, and I'm happier, and I have much less stress and all that sort of thing because I took that time out, and I think you should do the same. And maybe that's something in the brewing industry, maybe it's not. I don't know the answer to that. I think you know the answer to that. And I think it's going to take a bit of time for you to figure that out.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I value your advice very highly, and I'm so happy for you. Like I think what you're doing now is in your element, and you deserve it.
Well, I painted a fucking house, Lex gone half,
exactly,
and popped a fucking vein in the meantime, in the process. But hey, here I am.
All right, this episode's going to go forever if we don't.
It was very emotional, wasn't it?
I know. Jesus Christ, and I fucking calm down. I reckon we just.
I've had beers all afternoon. It's my fucking birthday.
I know what. It's true.
Not quite a field trip, but halfway to a field trip.
Should we do 12 questions and ditch all the news? Or wait, is there anything?
Send it. Yeah, fuck it. News is news. There's so much shit happening now. Who can keep up? Let's just talk shit. Do the 12 questions.
All right,
Bring it.
Let's do it. Okay.
How many questions from Louis G this week? Probably 12.
Okay. Right. Paul Metcalf, the king of the 12.
Oh, it's good to see him last week at Hiker.
Yes. Nice. That dude's a legend. Love that
He's
guy.
a good bloke. I need t-shirts. I need to call him actually.
Yeah, get more shirts. Question, Colin. Hendo, which brand is better, left or right? P.S. Happy birthday. Oh, wait. Which hand is better? What does that mean? Is that a personal joke?
We
Dude, I
spoke
can
last
literally
weekend.
hear crickets. Like, it's not to do with you not answering the question, but all I can hear at the moment is crickets.
We had a chat last weekend, and I'm pretty sure we chatted about something, and I can't remember what the context was. I'm so sorry.
Sounds like it had something to do with left and right hands being better. Maybe for riding the scooter. I don't know.
Oh well, your left hand, your right hand should always be for the throttle, and your left hand should be for the clutch. Except the scooter doesn't have clutch. So
well, okay, we got a question from Louis G. First question, Colin, why? Question mark.
I think that's at you, mate.
That's pretty good though. I like that. Right.
Short to the point.
Yeah.
Says the question.
Yeah.
Does it correctly grammatically?
Exactly. Question 2, Colin, what are you going to do now? I have no fucking idea. We've established that. Question 3, what's the best Valentine's beer? Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, that's an excellent question. Oh, Valentine's beer.
I'll say Pink Mist because it's a raspberry saison. I'm very biased. And
yeah, but when it comes to Valentine's beer, are we talking beer that your significant other would gift to you, or a beer that you would gift to your significant other, or a beer that you and your significant other would enjoy together?
Well, call it how you see it.
Challenging question.
I just went with Pink Mist because it's pink.
Like hearts and shit.
And hearts and fluffy, and I'm biased because Black Ops.
Yeah.
But my last night the best drink we had was in the middle of Hamilton in the intermission. There was slushies, and there was like.
Were they margarita slushies?
Well, there was margarita, but it was.
Were they alcoholic?
100%. And the what's the fucking red one? The one that all the fuckheads drink at the casino. That's the one we drank, and that was the most.
Fire engines.
Ever. No, not fire engines. Wait, I'll see if. No, she's asleep. She's not going to help. Oh wait, what's it called? Oh god, I'm going to Google cocktails now. Like the most like generic fucking.
Like a Cosmopolitan?
Yeah, Cosmo. That's it. Cosmo. Yes.
Like a Cosmopolitan slushy.
Cosmo slushy. Yeah.
That's so fucking sacrilegious.
It was so good. Cosmo slushy was the best. Yeah, that was my answer. Okay. Wait, what's
well, there you go. There's your fucking romantic beer, Louis G. It's a Cosmopolitan.
Yes. Yeah.
What's the next question?
Nick Lennon, Super Bowl. Does it have something to do with the Illuminati? And was the Chiefs win scripted? No, the Illuminati. No, that's the Rockefeller fucking Jay-Z label sign. It's nothing to do with the Illuminati. It's also shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Nothing to do with Illuminati.
I didn't watch the Super Bowl.
Rihanna's performance he's talking about. It was very strong. I watched it yesterday. It was solid. I enjoyed it.
She did some dirty stuff on stage.
No, she didn't. She was awesome. What'd she do?
I didn't watch it. I just saw the highlights on Reddit.
No.
But I watched the UFC in Perth.
Dude.
That was a lot of fun.
I saw it afterwards. Do you watch it live?
Yeah, I went to the pub, watch it live.
Oh, really? God, that would have
Yeah.
been crazy.
Where were you?
Well, no, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it live. We had a thing on, so I just would look checking Twitter every 2 seconds. It was just freaking me out.
It was a lot of fun. I don't like to watch UFC at home when I'm just sitting at home hanging out by myself. But if I'm at the pub with my mates, love it.
Yeah,
Don't follow it like you follow it,
I follow it.
but every fighter was Australian, and almost all of them just fucking pummeled
Yeah,
the opposition. And I don't know if it was a setup, fuck man, but it was a lot of fun to watch. And then Tui, what's his name?
Tuivasa. Tai Tuivasa.
Tuivasa
Yeah.
just fucking stands up between fights and does a
Yeah.
shoey in front of the crowd. Crowd was just going, it was amazing.
So crazy.
Can you believe that the people watching that live at the Perth Entertainment Centre, where the fuck it was, right? The first fights were at 7 a.m.
Oh my God.
and there was piss at 7 a.m. And by the time I was like watching it at 1 p.m. when I got to the pub, like that's 11 a.m. for them, and they're all rocked and they're all doing shoeies and
Oh my
fuck
God.
me. That would have been fun. That would have been a lot of fun to go to live.
Oh, it would have been. I love UFC so much, but I just hate people assaulting each other. It's just revolting. So
I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed that one. It wasn't like, I thought it was okay.
do you think Volk won the main fight or no?
I think it was very close. I understand the result. I don't necessarily agree with it, but
Right.
that's my opinion on it.
Dude, that dude is an animal. Like, as far as sport goes in Australia, like that dude is a proper animal. Okay, next question. Jacob Gordon. How did Hendo celebrate
He
his
likes
birthday?
he likes the UFC. He
Okay.
likes the UFC a lot.
Hmm. How did Hendo celebrate his 21st birthday today?
21st birthday.
Yep.
Thank you. Actually, do you know where I actually celebrated my 21st birthday? At Rosie's in the city, right? And
At Rosie's?
yeah, Rosie's. What is it now?
Oh, yeah.
What is it now? It's some fucking
Dollar
bar
drinks.
now.
Edward Street?
Yeah, on Edward Street there.
Nice.
And so I had the whole fam. I had my mum at Rosie's in fucking, I don't know what years, 19 fucking 93 or whatever the fuck it was, 95, and had dragged my whole family, my mum, my dad, fucking siblings, all that sort of thing, friends and all that sort of stuff, and my mate Phil, right? Who, you remember Phil, who I drink Hollandia with? Right?
Yes. With his friend.
He comes up to me, right, at my 21st, and he says, "Got something for you." And I went, "Sick, what do you got?" And he just pulls out of his pocket some aluminium foil.
I feel like this is going in a bad direction, Hendo.
No.
Fucking
And puts it back into his pocket. And I said, is that what I think it is? And he goes, "Come out the back alleyway and find out."
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'm like, all right. So I go out to the back alleyway. I sneak out of Rosie's, out a fucking back door, into the alleyway. And he pulls this piece of aluminium foil out, and there was some herbaceous vegetal material inside of the piece of aluminium foil.
Like kale.
I don't know what it was.
Okay. Well, as an example.
And then he says, "How about I roll some of this into some cigarette paper, and you smoke it?" And I went,
What's wrong with tobacco?
That sounds like a wonderful idea. Let's do that.
Okay.
And so he gets some of this vegetal material out, and he puts it into the cigarette paper, rolls it up, and goes, lights it, and he lights it, and all sort of stuff. And I start smoking this and that sort of thing. And I go back inside and expecting something to happen, and nothing happened. But he gives me the remainder of what was left in the aluminium foil, and I put it in my pocket and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And like 30 minutes later, I'm thinking, this is pretty boring.
You smoke kale.
What's going on? And I didn't think about it. I kept drinking, got really hammered and that sort of thing as you do on your 21st and stuff like that. The next morning, I wake up and I'm like plastered across my bed, still clothed, jeans still on, that sort of thing. And I'm like, oh, it's late. And I reach down in my pocket and I look up and I'm like, oh, aluminium foil there. The fuck is that from? And I open it up and it's fucking parsley.
What? Why?
Because he just fucking game me. Because he's hilarious. He literally went through the process of building up the thing, taking me out the back, going through the process of rolling what I thought.
Did he know what he was doing?
Yeah, he fucking knew exactly what he was doing.
He was trolling you.
Did it for hours. It was hilarious. And I just went, oh, you bastard.
Wow. I was not expecting that story,
so
but that was great.
So funny. I've never had the best time smoking parsley ever. It was literally supermarket parsley.
All right. Paul James, question 2. 14K Brews News subscribers new before the 12. Why?
I'm sorry, what?
What does that mean?
What was it?
14K Brews News subscribers new before the 12. Why? I don't know what that means.
I don't understand either.
Right? Don't know what that
But
means.
that said, though, we're not here to start any shit between Brews News and Boss of the Brewer or anything like that.
Well, I mean, wait. Brews News new before the 12, as in like new me leaving Black Ops? I'm guessing. Is that what that means?
Oh, yeah, that's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
How did Brews News find out
they're the
before
news
us?
site. So yeah.
Yeah. So how did they find out before the 12?
Oh, because we do this on the Wednesday and they published it on when was it? A Tuesday.
Did you do a press release?
No.
So how did he find out?
I have no idea.
That's a very fucking good question.
Let me think. Well, I'm not working there anymore, so whatever the team.
Did you publish it? Did you publish it elsewhere? Before?
Yeah, well, like it's not a secret. It's not like a news thing. Like we've told.
Well, how did you publish it?
Well, we sent an email to investors like in October about the leadership change. We sent an email last week, I think. I keep saying we, but I'm not there anymore. So
yeah, but it's still we. It's fine.
Yeah. So last week emailed investors.
So Brews News got their hands on the email.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Because if you didn't do a press release, I honestly thought you did a press release. That's how that article read.
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
So that article was not written on the basis of a press release.
I don't think so. No.
So some information was handed and backhanded to Brews News, and they published that.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce, Matt knows what's going on. He's got his finger on the pulse. He knows everything.
Yeah. But do you understand my fucking frustration?
Oh, you're having a crack again, aren't you? Look, I can see
fucking well, absolutely.
No.
So you can you're telling me that Brews News gets forwarded an email, right, about the
no, wait. I spoke to Matt the day before because he said I've heard you're leaving. Do you want to chat about it? And
what'd you say?
Well, I said, yeah, I'm happy to answer questions, but this is the awkward thing. Like, I'm leaving, right? So, like, I want to 100% respect like the history of everything, but also a new leadership is coming in, so I don't want to like do things differently to the way they would.
100%, absolutely.
So I'm like my natural reaction is like, yeah, fuck it, I'll talk about anything. Like, we'll just talk about it. It's all sweet, but I don't.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, yeah. So he spoke to you.
Yeah, okay, so I said to Matt, like, can you send me questions via email? And also, like, I don't know if this is going to be useful to anyone, and this is definitely not a dig at Brews News, but if anyone in the media ever asks you for questions on anything, if it's a sensitive topic, like
Email.
do it via email, because
Fucking oath.
like, and I don't want this to go the wrong way. I'm definitely not having to go at Brews News, but every single time, and I've gotten lots of media before Brews News, lots of media outside of this industry. Every time you talk to anyone about any news story, the words they put in the writing will be different to the words you say.
Yes,
and that
unless
is
you actually type it and they have to copy
100%,
paste
and that's
it.
universal. And it's not even it's not even a dig at the journalist. Like, it's just
No, that's just how you deal with journalists
to listen
in
to
general.
someone and be like,
100%.
yeah. So
no, my concern was that that Brews News got just forwarded the email, then wrote about it, and didn't speak to you or anything like that. And
no.
Matt weird.
Text me and said, "Do you want to do a call?" And I was like, my initial was thinking, like, yeah, I'll give you a call, and then messaged the guys and was like, do it in email, which honestly is probably smarter.
Yeah, but that's the process that news gets done. I respect that.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree with you. I will never, ever, ever say anything on the record to any media organization unless it's done in writing.
Writing is better, but also it's sort of like, it's not my style. Like, it's not, you read a press release, every time you read it, you can see through it.
Yeah, but I'd sooner get Chat GPT to fucking do it. Probably do a better job than me.
Yeah. I don't know. There's got to be a place for genuine conversations and chats, and not just
never with a journalist.
Stuff. But I do think, like, the article that Matt wrote, like, we can't sit here and say he's, because he was a little bit hard on us, but we can't sit here and say, like, he's not hard enough on some people or too hard on some people. Like, at the end of the day, it's kind of his job to look at the information and, be hard on people where he feels like it's necessary, and not.
My issue was never whether he was hard on someone or not.
Right.
My issue was that there was a subset of people who didn't even get a mention.
Yeah. Okay.
And that is where I'm absolutely 100% clear on that. And I understand that, I understand being a journalist is fucking tough. And but my point of view is very, very clear on that.
Yeah. I know this is probably like stupid thing to say, but Claire, who used to work for Brews News, was awesome.
How so?
She was just great. She was just like very genuine.
I don't really ever spoke to her. Has she gone back to the UK or something?
No, I don't think so. I think she just like had a career change. It wasn't so negative. Like, it just wasn't super negative about everything and whingy. She was just very genuine, and fuck, if you have to report on some negative shit, then sweet.
Yep.
But she was just very genuine, and I don't know, it's just too much whinginess, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought she was fucking awesome anyway.
I agree. All
right.
What's the next question?
Matthew Cuthbert, you know this guy.
That Kent.
Do you think it will affect the BH brand with only one of the three founders left?
Good question.
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't think so. I think it's well beyond the founders at this point. It's a business and it's a brand, and Nathan and the team will come up with a way to lead it in a different. We needed a different marketing angle for a long time. Like, we've been talking about this for years. Like, the Made by Three Mates thing was kind of.
It worked at the time.
Yeah, it worked at the time. It was a thing that happened by accident, and it worked. And I don't think. Yeah, I actually put this in my response to Matt's questions, and I don't think he published it in the article, but like, he sent me the questions exact time when we were out to dinner up the street at a random Thai restaurant, and there's like, it's a Thai restaurant, everyone there is Asian, and I'm like, oh fuck, I should have been going here the whole time. Like, obviously this place is really good. And at the table next to us, one guy's drinking a Stella, the next girl's drinking a Bolter XPA, and the next guy is drinking a East Coast Haze, Black Ops. And they're sitting there comparing the beers. And they're like, oh, like they're far enough away. I couldn't hear what they're saying, but they're like looking at them, they're smelling them, they're kind of drinking them, like obviously debating about the quality of the beer.
That's cool. I like that.
And I'm sitting next to them, and like our crew is thinking about like, I can't believe one of the founders is leaving. Like, they don't give a fuck about that. Like, they don't care that we brewed an eggnog stout 8 years ago in Guts's Mrs. Yoga studio. Like, they go to the bottle shop. They've heard about a beer. They drink it. It tastes good. They like it, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the beer market's going now, and that sort of thing. It's like it's about brands and beers that you like and beers that are consistently good and that sort of thing. And a subset are going to be concerned with that, and rightly so, and they should be, and that sort of thing. But you know, this too shall pass.
Yep. Although I selfishly like to think I'm extremely important.
You're not.
Agreed.
You're not. Get fucked.
Luke Cooper, does this image conjure thoughts of a serial killer movie? And he's got a picture of you.
What image?
Extremely young and looking like you're about to murder someone. Okay. Well,
Which image? Can I look at? Am I allowed to look at the Facebook group? Because you tell me that I'm not allowed to. So
generally,
I haven't looked at Facebook all day.
I'll put it in here.
Yeah, put it in the fucking chat, because I haven't looked at Facebook all day, because you know how when it's your birthday and you get everyone just gets the birthday notification, they all email, send you messages and all sorts of stuff. Today's the day that I get overwhelmed with Facebook notifications. Right. And I actually don't look at Facebook that day. But what I'm going to do tomorrow morning is I will try to respond to everybody personally. And that's important.
Appreciate that. Right. Are you going to get murdered by that photo I just sent you in the chat on Zoom?
Oh, it's the Zoom chat. Hang on a second. Oh, you can put photos in Zoom chat.
I'll put it right.
That was me judging at the ALBAs.
That's great. That's a great photo.
That's my I'm going to fuck you up fucking photo.
That's a great photo.
Or it's my God damn it, I hate this beer photo. That was in the ARBAs, I think it was 2018. And I didn't have a beard, and they just happened to take that shot. As I was looking at beer, about to speak to the table captain about a certain characteristic that didn't meet the style. And it was like that when I had the inhale and I was just exhaling to put the glass out of my mouth and speak. And yeah, that's the moment they captured.
It's an iconic photo.
It's very iconic.
I love that. You look so angry. I love that.
Photoshop a beard on it or something, because I feel naked.
Right. Paul Simpson, will I still be your number one? Or now do I have to go on field trips with Nathan? That sucks.
Savage. Simpo's in the UK, isn't he?
Simpo's on a 6-month holiday with the family.
A sabbatical or something, yeah.
Simpo's always number one. So
yeah.
If you love Nathan more than me, that's totally accepted. And
fair call.
Simpo was the guy who backed Black Ops when no one else would. So
yeah,
he's the boss as far as I'm concerned. What, do you got a beer there? What's happening?
No.
I've got one.
What have you got? Which Bacchus beer have you got?
Cryosphere Cold IPA, 7.3%.
I actually like the style.
2.2 standos.
How many standos was this hiker beer? Oh, no standos.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, 1. No, there it is, 1.7. Sorry, my eyes weren't open.
That's fine.
I'm having the Social Brewers Strider Pale Ale. Oh, sorry, Session Ale.
Can I have permission to go for one more wee before we answer the last few questions?
You knock yourself out, mate.
Jesus Christ. All right. Do you want to entertain the audience or do you want me to pause it?
No, pause it. That way I can wee myself.
You look every bit as angry as you do in that photo. All right. Cryosphere cold IPA.
That's very tasty. I just took a sip of the Social Brewers Strider Session Ale. Very, very tasty.
That's really good. That was delicious.
Very tasty. Even though it was in the hot sun and it's in dirty glass.
Oh, wow.
That is
It
very
sounds like
tasty.
you're complaining about free beer, but it's okay.
No. Like, it's gone through this process before it got to me. It still tastes fucking tasty. Well fucking done.
Cold IPA. Man, it was so good going back to Bacchus today. A bit nostalgic.
Good.
So good.
Good on you.
What do you look? What? You can't read. I know what's happening. You're reading the questions, aren't you?
No, I'm not reading the questions.
What are you doing? You're being naughty.
Far away. No, I'm
What's
just
happening?
I often make up memes in my head.
Okay. All right. Next question. Am I doing the questions? What's happening?
Okay.
You
Please.
got a whole fucking episode in your head right now.
Yep.
All right. Callum Sprott. Question colon. I like the punctuation. How was your field trip? Oh, field trip was the best. I fucking love Brisbane. So cool. I love going there. I lived there for so long and I love the Gold Coast because it's fucking awesome. But I just enjoy going back to Brisbane so much. Just, it's awesome. Brisbane
Would you move back?
a great city. No, I actually tried. I tried about 8 years into living on the Gold Coast. I moved back to Brisbane and I just missed the beach.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm a Pisces. I need to be near the water. It's a spiritual thing, Hendo. You know what I
I'm
mean?
an Aquarius. I'm a water fucking sign.
There you go. You got to be near the water, and the brown snake doesn't count. It's different. It's
Fair
different.
point.
But
Fair point.
Brisbane is fucking awesome, and I love it. And field trip was great. Sierra May, dude, not a beer thing, but Sierra May, that place is so cool.
The food is good. I was there, went for a mate's 50th and that sort of thing. And the wine is great.
The wine we had was fucking
I wouldn't go for a fucking live gig because I've heard that getting in and out of that place is a fucking nightmare for a live
that's
gig.
my concern because I actually have something booked. So when we were there today, we were looking over, they were building the stage and everything and was so entertaining because Sting is playing there this weekend.
Are you going to that?
Definitely not. But
so what have you got booked?
Well, I got the King. The King is coming. The King is coming. So, and I'm going to be there for that.
Elon Musk?
Almost. The King of Pop.
Michael Jackson?
Well, the
Robbie
King of
Williams.
Pop likes to have sex with adults.
Robbie Williams.
That's the guy. That guy.
You're going to see Robbie Williams?
100%. For the third time.
Such a fucking good entertainer.
The third time.
Yeah. I saw him at Glastonbury.
Yeah. He's the king.
He was amazing.
Yeah.
100% would 100% would go to that. He is such a great entertainer.
Oh, dude. He's the best.
If you ever see an entertainer that gets the most out of interacting with the crowd and just receives the energy and just projects it all back, that's Robbie Williams.
He is the god. He's the god of pop. Beer is.
I wouldn't say. I personally wouldn't say that, but
good.
I understand why you say that. And he's a very, 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 very talented entertainer.
Yeah. So that'll be my third Robbie Williams concert.
And he's playing at Sierra May.
Yeah, at Sierra May. But it's like a year from now. It's like November, I think. But yeah, man, that place is incredible.
Except the public transport in and out of shit.
Well, we're trying to figure that out. Yeah, we're trying to figure that out.
And that's the only thing going against it. There's so many pineapple vibes going on with this fucking Strider's beer. It's amazing.
Dude, this fucking cryosphere is awesome.
Mm.
Beers is very good.
Nice work, man. What's the next question?
All right. Lucy, Evelyn, question colon.
Perfect.
Is this now called the inspired, unemployed, and the brewer?
That's funny.
That's good. I'll say that. Yeah,
Wait,
fair.
I'm the boss.
You're the boss. Yeah,
I'm the boss.
Yeah.
You're the brewer.
Exactly.
So it's the boss and the inspired unemployed.
And it's the boss and the inspired unemployed.
That's something a lot of people don't understand, is that people think that you're the boss and I'm the brewer. But the whole point of this fucking show is that Dan is the brewer because he dry hops. And I'm the boss.
Yeah. Well, you've just revealed the secret. You've revealed our secret sauce.
How far are we into this fucking show?
Okay, all right. Well, one more question. One more. Right. Steve York. And this question doesn't have a question colon before it, which is fine. He might be a new member.
He might be new. We've had all the new members.
Why is the NZ Gabs top 10 such a better list of beers than ours? Are the Kiwis more cultured than us?
I've got an answer to that question, actually.
Good.
You can't. It's a better top 10 because you can't buy them.
Okay, that's enough silence. Do you want to explain yourself?
Well, the thing is that he's saying I'm going on the assumption that is it Steve?
Yeah, York. Yeah.
Steve York.
Yeah.
Is Australian, and he looks over the fence at the top 10.
No, their list is better. Come on.
It's a great list, but none of those beers you can buy in Australia, or maybe one or two of them you can buy in Australia.
No, but it's all like legit, independent, exciting, experimental craft beers in their list,
which he has never bought.
But if you're
a Kiwi living in New Zealand, that's the beers that you see on the shelf in New World.
Is it?
Yeah. Have you know what New World is? New World is like fucking Woolworths in Australia, right? And they have. I went to the New World in Wellington. One of the New Worlds in Wellington went there, and they have a whole fucking aisle refrigerated, dedicated to craft beer. And it's amazing, right? Absolutely amazing. To the point where I walked into the aisle and it was like angels singing, going, oh, like this. And then I started singing A Whole New World. It's a point of view.
Oh, yeah.
That.
Aladdin? Is that Aladdin? Okay.
I don't care.
You can do that.
I just started singing it, and it was amazing because there's so much fucking beer there. And you know the really interesting. Okay, so here's the thing about the fucking Kiwi.
I feel like his question is he's 100% right. So
have a look. No, seriously, Dan, pull up fucking pictures of the top 10 beers in New Zealand. Now Steve's got a fucking point, right?
He's got a 100% point. I think he's right.
Pull up on a web browser. Pick, like, you know how they have the little blue tile of the beer, right? Here's what we do in Australia. Can of beer, can of beer, can of beer, can of beer. The fucking top 10 Kiwi beers is can of beer, fucking 2-litre plastic rigger, can of beer, rigger. Like, fucking amazing. Why can't we get 2-litre plastic riggers in Australia? It makes sense.
Okay,
Riggers of beer.
Gabs. Results. View. All right. So we got Aussie 2022. Wait.
Yeah.
2023.
Brain Smiles number 1. Have you got the list?
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. Brain Smiles.
Is it? Have you got the list with the blue tile and the
Parrot Dog, Garage Project,
Are you looking at a worded list or you got a list with the tiles
No, I've got the tiles.
and a picture of the can of beer or rigger? Beer? Right. So how many riggers are there in the top 10?
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Plastic bottle, 2 liter plastic bottle.
Number 11, maybe? Tiger
Yeah.
Milk IPA.
Right. So it's a fucking IPA in the top 20. You
Number
can get a
15,
2 liter
Good
plastic
George
bottle.
Brewing.
Yes.
Is that a rigger?
Yes. If it's not fucking aluminium,
Okay.
it's a fucking rigger.
Right, calm down. Shit. I feel like we all agree New Zealand is way better than Australia. Are we
Fucking
all
oath.
in agreement on that?
Absolutely.
Right.
And the good thing about the Kiwi hottest 100, I would like to see the same. Who was that guy who did all the charts?
Yes.
States. I would like to see that same analysis of the Kiwi beers.
Yeah. All right. Let's hit him up.
Yep. And it's good to see Behemoth get the Brain Smiles Hazy Pale Ale.
Yeah, that was cool. That's amazing.
And it's fucking good to see riggers in the top 20. Let's see a rigger in the top 10. Mind blowing. You know what would be fucking great? Let's see a rigger in the top 10 Australian craft beers. Mazen, I'm looking at you. Mazen's always looking to innovate.
Mazen,
Craft
get
beer.
involved.
And Mazen, get a rigger machine.
You speaking
Plastic
so
fucking
close to that
riggers.
microphone is really
I know. I'm
sexy.
trying to sound sexy.
Oh, it's
Mazen.
working.
All right, Mazen. It's just you and me. Let's get some plastic riggers in Australia. They're still recyclable. And they're bigger. Just like you.
Oh. Wow. On that note, I think we're done.
Fucking oath, we're done.
Love your work, mate.
Until next week, legend. Thanks for the great chat.
Cheers, mate.